Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday. This is Ruthie Rocks, and we are on show 480. So happy everybody's here today. If you want to give me a shout out in the chat, I'd love to know if you've been experiencing lines when you go to show homes. So give us a comment there in the shout us out in the comments. And my goodness, homes are selling. 67% of the homes are selling within 30 days. So, that's just another reason why people should use realtors instead of the iBuyer platforms. And the iBuyer platforms are coming back into our market, as you know, I'm sure. And they're offering people, what they believe are fantastic numbers because their homes have appreciated. So they're basically selling, the iBuyer platforms are selling the homeowner on the idea that, they're getting all this money back, when in reality, they could get more back, and equity is something that we talked a little bit about yesterday. And I think that everybody should really understand how to explain equity. So we may review that again, but for today, I just want to let you know we are down to 0.666, not a number I like, of inventory, 0.66 months of inventory. That is very low, everybody. And like Jimmy and I were telling you yesterday, Boston has 8 hours of inventory. Can you imagine that? So there are places that have lower inventory than we do. Is it historic? Jimmy's checking on that for us. It depends, how different people do the statistics. I do them a certain way. I do Clark County when it comes to these available homes, but only 101, as we realtors know, area 0101 down through 0805, which is Blue Diamond. I don't go beyond that. So my stats may be a little different from someone else's. And so when people give you stats, you need to know, well, what did they use as their criteria? So that's what I use. And I say that right there on the screen. And so, we're down to 2,575 homes. And last month, when you think about it, we sold 3,310. So we need some more inventory. We did list 102 homes yesterday. That's the good news, of course. But wow, you all are busy. You put 134 under contract. That's a lot of homes under contract. And then we had 117 closings. So that's exciting. And we've upped our game a little bit. I have that second arrow pointing. We are now selling 137.4 homes a day. And I think that's pretty much a record since at least for the past 2020 and 2021. I will find out. Good morning, Frank. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining today. Appreciate that. Frank, have you experienced home where your buyers have to stand in line to see a home? Just give me a little comment and what you're experiencing on that level. I'm not sure if you're a listing agent or a buyer's agent. So anyway, if you are, let me know. So 137 homes a day, that's a lot of sales, everybody, a lot of sales. We're like 483 ahead of last March already. As you can see, last March, we were selling 105 homes a day. Life is in the fast lane. Frank says, does that include new homes? They closed, oh yeah. I know they closed 1,000, but no, that just includes the MLS. I get my stats from the MLS. I don't include the that number. But yeah, last year they started at 800 in January of 2020, and then they ramped up. And they've been doing about 1,000. Yeah. So you're both a buyer's agent and a seller's agent. Well, that's, in our market, that's not unusual. You know that, Frank. It's not unusual at all. We're 2 billion. We finally reached 2 billion more in sales this year than last year. Again, awesome numbers, fantastic numbers to to show that you're an authority in your field because you understand what's going on in your market. And Jimmy always says, carry this around with you. So what I did is, and I'm going to put this in the in the group, I took my picture off the bottom so that you can just print it out and that you can. Oh, Frank's closing 2 new homes this month. Wow. Unbelievable. Well, yay for you. There you go. You're adding to the the 1,000. So anyway, I'm going to, so that you can print it out and put it in your purse, put it in your pocket, guys, but have it with you and wear your badge because people are, you can tell, look at the market. People are buying and selling real estate. So you want to make sure everybody knows that you're not who you are, that you're not a secret agent, and that you're a realtor. And Frank, like you said, you're closing 2 new homes this month. If you had that badge on, which I'm sure you did, right, and you walk in with a client into these new homes, other people are seeing you and they might ask you questions, oh, how's the resale market, or does the resale homes have bigger backyards, things like that. So please wear your badge and please carry your stats with you so you can say, oh my gosh. You can tell them, I keep track of this. You don't need to say you created it. You just need to say, I keep track of this, and here's on a daily basis, and here's what's going on now. That gives you a lot of credibility. So another opportunity, to perhaps do 1 or 2 more deals a month. You never know. I believe it because back in 2004, 5, and 6, that's what was happening. If you had your badge on and you had your stats ready, because so many people were coming here from, as they are now, from other parts of the country, and they meet up with you, and they're like, "Oh wow, I met someone in Starbucks or in Albertsons or in a new home track, and they know, they keep track of the stats every day. That makes an impression. That helps to brand. Oh my gosh, Frank, what a great idea! Frank says they see my branded mask. Great idea. Ruth Allbrand, realtor. That is fantastic. I love that idea. Glad you thought of it. So on with today. Now, we had a class yesterday. Me and Jimmy taught advanced listing strategies, which was really, really a great class. And it was packed. And these classes are so good, and we keep outperforming our numbers. So we continue to get more and more people zooming in or coming into the classroom. One of the things I just wanted to let everybody know is that Jimmy said yesterday that there's a couple books. I'm going to just give you one today that you should probably read. And it is called Magic Words. And magic words are important. One of the most used words is in the English language is yes. The other most used word is, or the word he says not to use is but, and it's used a lot because but just says whatever you said, just forget about it because I'm going to tell you something different. And that's not always what we mean, but that's what we say. So we might want to say, oh, the market is great, and right, not the market is great, but it's, it leads it. Did you hear that? It just takes your mind into a different direction. So anyway, magic words. And the other one he mentioned was Words That Work. Those 2 books, if you want to look them up on Amazon and Audible. And then the other thing is, I watched this morning Kevin O'Leary, and if you haven't watched Kevin O'Leary, he's Mr. Wonderful on the Shark Tank, and he was talking about residential real estate versus commercial real estate. And of course, he's saying that now people are getting more used to living in their homes because they had to live, work, and go to school there, and that he has sold all of his commercial and retail real estate, and he's now investing in residential real estate. And one of the things that he he said, now I'm not a real estate agent. I was an investor. Now I'm an investor in residential real estate. And he says, if you are a real estate agent, this was like some words of wisdom. And he said, if you're a real estate agent, one of the things that you need to tell people, like when they're looking at homes, and he was in Florida where the homes are a little bit older than ours, but he said, people live in your kitchen. People gather in the kitchen. You make popcorn in the kitchen. Sometimes your family room's attached to your kitchen. You go out to the barbecue and then you come back through the kitchen. And a lot of people have tables in their kitchen. It just depends. But he says that he would advise real estate agents, if you're recommending to people, if you're buying an older home, that you redo the kitchen and you redo the bathrooms. He says, I love to shave in my bathroom, and I even have a little TV there. I like to be in a nice environment. And he says, because it's one of the only times I'm really totally alone. So he's a character, but he did make some good points. And people need to know that bathrooms and kitchens, if they're thinking of selling, are probably the two things that they should look at redoing if they want to get the biggest bang for their buck and add equity. And we know that, if you add a $100 item, it may end up, or two, let's say you replace a sink, or all the sinks in your house or whatever, you're going to more than double your return on that investment, because people will pay more for new things that they don't have to replace. So just a little tidbit there. And then yesterday in the class, it was funny because I went ahead and I printed out 3 reasons we're not in a housing bubble, and to give to all the people in the class. And the funny thing is, before I even handed it out, the gentleman in the front row, said to me, when is that bubble going to happen? We're going to have a bubble. And he says, we've got so many foreclosures. We've got so many people not paying their mortgage. Well, he's a little bit misinformed. And we were Jimmy and I were gentle. And we told him, that's really not the case. 30% of the people in Vegas own their homes free and clear. It's 40% actually across the country. And when we did have the housing crisis in 2008, a lot of investors came in and paid cash. A lot of people that came back into the market over the last several years paid cash. So I don't think we're having a housing bubble. Plus, our appreciation is true appreciation. And I have that left the stats up here because I have that on the chart here. If you bought a home in 2011, you've gained $225,000 in equity, assuming that you didn't refinance and take money out. And so, that's a big chunk of change to make in a home in 10 years. And this is something too that when you go to unlisting appointments, you need to tell people. But my point is that people are not going to be in a position, for the most part, to lose that equity by going into foreclosure. I mean, that wouldn't make any sense. And they're not upside down, so they're not going to do a short sale. Now, we always have some people in foreclosure, just a fact of life, and I think it's under 5%. So life is good. Life is good, and we're not going to have a bubble. But let's see how we can present that to people who ask. So I'm going to bring this up on the screen, and we're going to review it today. I'm going to here. There we go. Okay, so 3 reasons. So home values appreciated by almost 10% in 2020, and they're forecast to continue rising this year, and they are already. There has been some voicing of concern that we may be in another housing bubble, like the one we experienced 10 years ago. But here's 3 reasons why that's actually not the case, and the market is completely different today. So number 1, this time, housing supply is extremely limited. The price of any item is determined by supply and demand. If the supply is high and the demand is low, prices normally decrease. However, if the supply is low and demand is high, the prices naturally increase. So in real estate, the balance is measured in months supply of inventory, which is based on the number of current homes for sale compared to the number of buyers in the market. So the normal month's supply of inventory for the market is about 6 months. Anything above that defines a buyer's market, indicating prices will soften. Anything below that defines a seller's market, in which prices normally appreciate. So between 2006 and 2008, the month supply of inventory increased from just over 5 months to 11 months. The month supply was over 7 months in 27 of those 36 months, yet home sales continued to rise. Months inventory has been under 5 months for the last 3 years, under 4 for the 13 of the last 14 months, and under 3 for the last 6 months. And it currently stands at 1.9 months, and this is a historic low. And that's over the United States. Of course, it's not here. Remember, if supply is low and demand is high, prices naturally increase. And I've talked to some appraisers lately, and they are very, very careful, not to let the market get out of hand. And the one thing that does let the market increase right now are cash buyers, because they will pay over list price, and they will not require, a lot of them don't want an appraisal. They want that house, they're willing to pay. If it's over appraisal, they don't care. And a lot of those people are coming from other states and places, where they got a lot of money, and they know interest rates are low. Money's almost free, so they're willing to invest in real estate and pay cash. So, and we've had some other situations along those lines. The appraiser told me, Sonia, I'm going to have her on my show one of these days soon here, but Sonia told me that, and she's very astute. Sonia told me, that they have to use those homes that people paid cash for. And then some people are actually, even though the house appraises, they are putting cash into the market, or into the home above appraised value. And, they can do that. That's fine. And those are the people that are similar to the cash buyers. They're raising the bar a little bit, and that's going to happen. So, number 2, this time the housing demand is real. So during the housing boom in the mid-2000s, there was what Robert Schuller called, a fellow at the Yale School of Management, called irrational exuberance. So the definition of the term is unfounded market optimism that lacks a real foundation of fundamental valuation, but instead rests on psychological factors. Wow, that's a mouthful, isn't it? So without considering historic market trends, people got caught up in the frenzy and bought houses based on unrealistic belief that housing values would continue to escalate. And again, that was the mid-2000s, and that's really what we saw. We were there. It was amazing. New homes would go up overnight, 20,000. Why? Because people were willing to pay the price. That was why. It's what the market would bear. The mortgage industry fed into the craziness by making mortgage money available to just about anyone, which was shown in the Mortgage Credit Availability Index and published by the Mortgage Brokers Association. So the higher the index, the easier it is to get a mortgage. And the lower the index, the more difficult it is to get one. So prior to the housing boom, 10 years ago, the index stood just below 400. In 2006, the index hit an all-time high of over 868, meaning just above anyone could qualify for a mortgage. And we saw that. It was so prevalent here in Las Vegas. So today it stands at 124.6, which is well below even the pre-boom level. So in the current real estate market, demand is not fabricated. Millennials, the largest generation in the country, have come of age to marry and have children, which are 2 major drivers for home ownership. The health crisis is also changing every household to redefine the meaning of home and to reevaluate whether their current home meets the new definition. So the desire to own, coupled with historically low mortgage rates, makes purchasing a home a strong, sound financial decision. So therefore, today's demand is very real. Remember, if supply is low and demand is high, prices will naturally increase. So, number 3, this time households have plenty of equity. Again, during the housing boom, it just wasn't purchasers who got caught up in the frenzy. Existing homeowners started using their home like ATM machines. Remember that? Yeah, they when they got their house refinanced and took money out and got a home. So that enabled homeowners to leverage the equity in their homes. So from 2005 to 2007, Americans pulled out about 824 billion with a B in equity. That's something that you don't hear every day. That in 2005 through 2007, Americans pulled out 824 billion with a B in their equity, and that left many homeowners with little or no equity in their homes at this critical time. So as prices began to drop, some homeowners found themselves in a negative equity situation where the mortgage was higher than the value of their home. And many defaulted on their payments, and that led to the avalanche of foreclosures. And I mean, I don't know if you were in the business in 2008, but it was bloody. I mean, it was just terrible what happened because, as you know, everything just burst because people couldn't afford their home. Hi, Karen. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good information here. I know you were in that market. So today, the banks and American people have shown they've learned a valuable lesson from the housing crisis, which was a little over a decade ago. So cash out refinance volume over the last 3 years was less than a third of what it was compared to the 3 years leading up to the crash. So this approach has created levels of equity never seen before. According to the Census Bureau, 38% of owner-occupied housing units are owned free and clear across the country, and that's without a mortgage. That's huge. Also, ATTOM, I don't know what that acronym stands for, Data Solutions, just released their fourth quarter 2020 U.S. home equity report, which reveals. Now, this, let's see if we have this in here too. Should be down here. Hang on. Let me go over here. There it is. So 17.8 million residential properties in the United States. So 17.8 million homes in the United States are considered equity rich, meaning that the combined estimated amount of loans secured by those properties was 50% or less of their estimated market value. The count of equity-rich properties in the fourth quarter of 2020 represented 30%, or about 1 in 3 of the 59 million mortgaged homes in the United States. Equity-rich. So if we combine the 38% of the homes that are free and clear with the 18.7% of all homes that have at least 50% equity, we realize that 56.7% of all homes in this country have a minimum of 50% equity, and that's significantly better than the equity situation in 2008. Great information. I'm going to post this in the group. And the bottom line is that the housing supply is at a historic low. Demand is real and rightly motivated. Even if prices were to drop, homeowners have enough equity to be able to weather a dip in values. This is nothing like 2008. In fact, it's the exact opposite. Wow. So that is some good information A lot of them to qualify had an interest. That's true. I know. Exactly. Unbelievable. That's a great comment. A great comment. So I'm going to hide that. And I just want to let everybody know what's going on here at for us and continuing education. So Jimmy will be back next Thursday, or no, Jimmy will be back next Friday. I'm sorry. Jimmy Degg will be back in class. He'll be on the show between now and then, but he will be in class. We're going to have a contracts class on Friday, the 26th from 10 to 1. And it's writing and presenting the purchase contract. And because of the time we're in, these times, we're going to have examples of, how we navigate through multiple offers and things like that, and the right way to write these offers, so that we can eliminate perhaps being our offer not getting accepted. And on the 25th, Thursday, we're going to have an extremely important class. It's 3 CE ethics credits, and it's about cybersecurity. Excellent class. I recommend it highly to anyone. And there is such a thing now as cybersecurity insurance. We're going to go over that. I had the insurance agent that represents a company here in Las Vegas who sells that insurance, and she was excellent. Maybe I'll have her on one of my daily shows too, before we have the class. And she came to the class and she had some input, and I will reach out to her. Her name's Deborah, to see if she can come to the class again, because she's right there in the trenches. She's the one that gets the phone calls, that someone's computer has been breached, or their email has been phished, and malware has been installed in their computer. Lots of different issues and how to remedy them, but most of all, how to avoid them. And that's March 25th, 8400 West Sahara, from 10 to 1. We also Zoom that class, and I'll be sending out emails over the weekend for that class and for Jimmy's contracts class coming up next Thursday and Friday. And then on the social media front, we're going to have a class from 1 to 3:30 this Thursday, and talk about a lot of things that we talked about LinkedIn. There's some new things with LinkedIn. There's some new things with Facebook. We're going to review those and hopefully give you some pointers to keep you out there branded and doing things, because these platforms change. So you have to sometimes shift a little bit left or right, so that you get the best engagement and the best exposure for your social media. Just moving on down to March 29th, we're going to have a law class. It'll be taught by Keith Kelly. He is the previous president of the Nevada Realtor Association at the state level. And he knows the laws inside and out. And we have a lot of new things coming down the pike if you have been keeping tabs. If you haven't, come to the class and you'll learn a lot about what's going on in the legislature in Nevada. And it pertains to real estate. So thank you all. Love you all. See you tomorrow. Hopefully Jimmy will join me. Sorry I was late. This working at the office I'll get it. I'll get it in the rhythm. I love you all. Thank you so much. Please share my videos. Share them to your friends. Share them to your agents if you're a broker. And love to see more people. Bye, everybody.